There are two things I do want to do. One, talk about Thomas and Friends Season 6, which I will probably do someday. And the other, talk about Season 7. I was like, myself, when am I going to make a video about Season 7? So to all those who will want a video of Season 7 over the years, you have all have been patient. And this video is frequent. So what the heck is Thomas and Friends Season 7 like? What is this season from the 2000s that no one remembers? I do get a lot of people remember this, and I do get there are a lot of episodes, and just some of them actually don't match. Some of them are completely out of order and are hard with no explanation to compromise. Okay, so let's go into the mistakes of this season first. Okay, so the first mistake is what I call arrivals before. Okay, so there are a lot of new engines that we don't even know yet that have showed up in the show with no explanation. I was like, what the heck? How and why and how was Fergus introduced? Like, I know that there is no mistake that Fergus got introduced, but it's so odd that how other engines with no without their names introduced until later episodes got introduced, but they were on the railway before they even came. Like, what? Anyways, let's go on to the characters that have already arrived. Like, not Fergus. I wouldn't say Fergus is a mistake because they didn't properly introduce him. Although they did say he's a railway's traction engine on wheels. But not like a traction engine like Trevor. He's a traction engine like he has a flywheel and can run on rails. Something like that. Okay, let's move on to the mistakes that I have posted. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is let's go to the mistakes. Okay, so the first mistake is Arthur. As you can see, we can see Arthur chuffing above the quarry with some cars. And I don't know why he shows up in this scene. I guess they couldn't use another engine like besides him. I mean, like, they could have used James, although James doesn't run on this line. Just kidding. They could have replaced him with Percy. Who knows? Okay, so the next mistake is in the shot in Something Fishy. Okay, so just beside Thomas, if you look to the right, we can actually see Murdoch in the distance. We can actually see Murdoch in the distance. Like, do you see him right there? There he is. I mean, Emily also appears in this episode, but she's already had an introduction. Who knows? Okay. I mean, they could have replaced him with Gordon. I mean, Gordon could have had a wash down and got ready for the night. I mean, like, yeah, this is so odd. I don't know why other characters show up before they even arrive. And I slightly think there's one more. And that engine would be Spencer. If you look to the right, if you look to the left from Arthur, you can see Spencer in the background. Like, his introduction was not until episode 23. Like, what? I think I need to arrange this. I think Something Fishy should be after Gordon and Spencer. Okay, but we'll fix the episodes later on. Okay, so the next one is what I call romantic places. This means, this actually means that there are lots of places that are very much my favorite. like the viaduct here, for example, which is the picture of the Romantic Places chapter. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so my first favorite place is the viaduct. I really love it. I love how it's detailed. I love how the rocks are detailed. I do love a lot of places like the Rocky Ridge Line, the Tea Room, Rumbling Bridge, Elephant Park, etc. I do like the season 7 place. I do like the season 7 Scarloy Railway much better, more so to the season 4 one, which is obviously a lot boring. Some others complain about this being a complete different railway to the comfy one introduced. I mean, I think they're all just wrong. I think I think this is much better. This is much better than having the others complain about this big-headed nonsense. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that other people are complaining about this railway. I mean, don't take any offense. I mean, I really like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with disliking it. You are allowed to dislike it. And you are allowed to like or dislike this railway however you like. Okay, so those are the only. Okay, so there are a lot of places in season 7 and 6 that are my favorite. But we'll talk about the. We'll talk about the. We'll talk about that in like season 6, where my favorite places are in like season 6. Something like that. Anyways, moving on to the next section, the correct episode order. Okay, so I'm going to take into a bit of a deep diversion and say this. What is the correct order of the episodes? Okay, so as I talked about before, there are some mistakes, like engine arrivals, station places made, and I'll talk about that now. Okay, so one of the places like Rumbling Bridge was not seen until season 7, episode 8, the Refreshment Lady's Tea Shop. And we do see this place, which I think is pretty romantic, and I really like it. Although I do have a trains project and I forgot to add this. But don't worry, I will. I will add that to my trains project very soon. Speaking of train projects, I've created a big sonar map on Train Simulator 2, which I don't think you all have access to. Only I have access to it. And I've been creating it for almost like 5 months. Like, I know you all thank me and wish me luck for working so much harder. And as I continue to work and work and work for the next couple months, it's going to take a very, very, very long time to do this. And and then I will be adding Whispering Waterfall to it, just because I forgot some season 7 locations. Okay, so let's get into the correct order of the episodes, as I said, because I don't want to keep you all waiting. Okay, so here's what I have. So here is now what I have for this. Okay, so in the correct episode order, the first one off starts with Emily's new coaches, because this episode always comes first. And then the second episode would be. Then the second episode would be. The second episode would be Spotless Record, because Arthur then arrived. And then the third episode would be. Then the third episode would be Peace and Quiet. And then the fourth one would be Gordon and Spencer. And then we got Toby's windmill. Then on to something fishy. And I guess we could place the grand opening right here. And then coming right after that would be Bad Day at Castle Lock. And then we would get Best Dressed Engine. Then I'll move the screen a bit. And then we'll get what can we do? We could do Oliver the Snow Engine, and then it would be the Refreshment Ladies Tea Shop. And then we got What's the Matter with Henry, James and the Queen of Sodor, Harold and the Flying Horse, Not So Hasty Cakes, Salty Stormy Tale, Trusty Rusty, Bill, Ben, and Fergus. Oh, wait, hang on. I am doing this wrong. I am completely doing this wrong. Okay, hang on. Let me move some episodes back. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, and let me swap these. Okay, better. And then then it would be the old bridge. And then it would be Edward's Brass Band. Bulgy Rides again. Percy Gets It Right. Fergus Breaks the Rules. The Runaway Elephant. Renee's and the Roller Coaster. And then Hooray for Thomas. Actually, let's move this. Hang on, let's move these first 4 episodes to back here. Because remember, we've got like a narrow gauge episode after 3 episodes here, and then another 3 episodes, then a narrow gauge one, and blah 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 blah. And then we got Trusty Rusty. Then it is the old bridge. Then what else? Then we've got the runaway elephant. Then it is Renee's and the roller coaster. And that should work. And that should all work. Okay, so here's what I've got in the episode order. So this is the order I recommend watching the episodes in. My order goes as so. So Emily's New Coaches, The Spotless Record, Peace and Quiet, The Grand Opening, Gordon and Spencer, Toby's Windmill, Something Fishy, Peterson, The Refreshment Ladies Tea Shop, Bad Day at Castle Lock, Gordon, Best Dressed Engine, Snow Engine, Trusty Rusty, What's the Matter with Henry, James and the Queen of Sodor, Bill, Ben, and Fergus, The Old Bridge, and hang on, these 2 are in a lucky order. They're in the same position, but not the same episode order. And then after that, it's Harold and the Flying Horse, Not So Hasty Puddings, Salty Stormy Tale. Hang on, let me swap these. Okay, because the weather is starting to get very bad. And hang on, there we go. Okay, hang on. Let me swap these. Oh, this is tricky. This is tricky. Okay. Okay, hang on. They should probably not be right next to each other. Okay, so these episodes mean that this weather is starting to get very bad. Like from storm to rain to snow. Okay. Then after that is Not So Hasty Cakes, The Runaway Elephant, Edward's Brass Band, Bulgy Rides Again, Fergus Breaks the Rules, Renee's and the Roller Coaster, and finally, Hooray for Thomas. And there you go. We have the episode order. And I did this on tier list, and yeah. Okay, let's move on to a couple things. Okay, so this next one is what I call episode rank good or bad. Because Thomas is happy and Arthur is sad. Just a little thing I came up with. Okay, let's get into the episode rank. Okay, so there are a lot of good episodes in this season that I really like. Like, for starters, Spotless Record, because Arthur takes fruit, but then causes a huge crash, which is really cool, and I really like it. But not my top favorite crashes. Next one is the Refreshment Lady's Tea Shop. I like this episode because I like how Peter Sam is trying to help the refreshment lady. Want a helpful engine. I mean, I know this is kind of a little boring, but I get that Peter Sam is trying to help someone in need, which I think is really, really, really nice. But this is still a good episode. I'm gonna put this around okay or something. Probably, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on to the next one. Okay, next I'll mention Bulgy Rides Again. This is absolutely funny. Like, I do like Bulgy's voice in the US, but in the UK, it sounds a lot funnier. Take a listen to the UK version of how Bulgy said, "It's not my fault."
It's not my fault, sulked Bulgy.
Oh my god, that is so funny. And listen to this.
Silly hens, silly passengers, you can have them both.
Oh man, that sounds actually a lot funnier. But still, kind of funny. I'm only joking. Yeah, it's so much funnier. Anyways, moving on to the next episode, says Bulgy. Next is Edward's Brass Band. God, this is good. I love the crashes. I love its epic music in the UK. But in the US, it's kind of not well situated, to say the least. I think the music in the US sounds kind of boring, but in the UK, it sounds a lot better. Just take a listen to this US music that they used for Birdie getting stuck.
I'm stuck, he groaned. No.
See, it's not even that really boring. It's not even that great. It's just like calmer music. Like, man, I wish they could have done they done better in the UK, but in the US it's just boring. Just boring nonsense. Huh. Anyways, I've complained about this a lot. I think the UK in Edward's Brass Band sounds much better. Don't watch the US, it sounds bad. Next is Emily's New Coaches. God, I love this episode. I mean, it doesn't have much context to it, but there are a lot of ridiculous episodes, which I will talk about soon. Okay, So what I do like about this episode is that Thomas is trying to go after Emily, the new engine on Sodor, to find his coaches. But meanwhile, Emily has them, and Oliver tells her that those were Thomas's coaches. Feels like I'm telling the plot. Although I never told the plot in any other episode ranks, but considering this is my first retrospect of the day, I thought I'd make a retrospect, and this would be episode 1. The 7th series of Thomas and Friends. And then going back to jumbling seasons, blah blah blah. Although there are some seasons I really do not like season 2, season 1, but although I do like season 3. But season 7 is actually much better. And then in this first episode, their actual pilot episode in their first episode of the 7th series, which I mean, they show a close hit, a literal close hit, like almost getting hit by an inch. Wow. Yeah, I guess. Wow. Like season 7 was literally trying to make it more action like. Wow. Okay, moving on to the final good episode. The final one, you guessed it, is Peace and Quiet. Okay, so Peace and Quiet is my favorite amongst others. This is the episode that introduces the big engine himself, Murdoch. Murdoch is my favorite engine of the show. I love this guy. I mean, he's so big and strong and wow. I have no idea what to say. All the other engines couldn't stop asking questions about him, like blah 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 blah. He just wants peace and quiet anyway. And he's sometimes a lot quiet. And he doesn't really talk that much. He just likes pulling heavy goods trains. I mean, like a trillion cars. Although he doesn't actually pull a trillion cars, he only pulls like 10 or maybe 15. But I mean, I love the goods trains. I love the previous goods train he took. Except this one. This boring one where he takes only 7 trucks. Literally. Another engine can literally pull that much trucks. Murdoch can only pull like 15 or 20. Like, I don't know how much amount he can actually pull trucks, but the other engines wouldn't stop asking questions. I mean, like, Murdoch, like, don't be so rude. They're actually saying, Harvey and Salty are actually saying that. Like, Murdoch, don't be so rude. And then the next day, Murdoch just pulls the same train again. Like, what? But I still think this is my favorite episode. The episode where it introduces the man himself, the big strong engine himself, Murdoch. As I said earlier. Okay, so that's all my ranking lists in the season 7. Now, now I've been talking about this for over a quarter now. But there's still a lot more to cover. Moving on. Okay, so this is what I'm going to call what is good about this season. Well, for example, I do like how they filmed it. I love the models. I love the engine's faces. I loved how they look. And sometime I'm gonna probably draw one almost wow. I don't know. But yeah, that's what's really good about it. And yeah, there's a lot good about this series. I mean, there's a lot of good things about this season, and there's a lot of bad stuff. Like the good stuff we're gonna talk about now, and then we'll go on to the bad stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. And then the episode 2 will be season 6. Okay, now let's move on. So the next good so the next good thing is the characteristics. The characteristics of every single character in the show sometimes get an appearance. Even like Donald and Douglas, even Donald and Douglas get their own spotlight episode. So does Salty. But Salty only gets one focus story. I guess Emily does as well. But Emily does appear in this episode. She's just a side character. Salty is actually the main one, and Thomas, Percy, and Emily and Fergus are actually the side characters. Salty is the main one of this episode. Really good thing they put this together. But I wish this could have taken place near episode 1, next to episode 1. I mean, like, yeah, they could have I wish they would have used this in episode 4, but again, they just want to do blah 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 stuff. They just wanted to put it somewhere in the middle. And, they did put it in the middle. Pretty lucky thing. And, I do love the locations. As I talked about earlier, there are some romantic places on the Scarloy Railway. There is some on the standard gauge too, like Brendam Docks, and the Ironworks. And there are lots of places like Wellsworth, which sometimes changes over the episodes. This coastal line that we only see once, maybe twice. I don't know how many times, but who knows. And I do love how they put the generator up. Hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry I had to burp 1 second. But, okay, I've been talking about this for a half hour now. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so the good places on this line, and I have no idea where this is. It could be next to Brendam Docks. It could be on the Little Western. Why would the Ironworks be at Harwick? What? Okay, hang on. I think I'm remembering something. Okay, so in Unlucky Tug's map, they show in the May 24th update, he shows that this coastal line is before the cement works, and they actually went back to Brendam Docks to make sure that the ship arrived safely. Pretty nice piece of work. And considering the Ironworks is all the way up at Peel Godred, Salty would have been able to travel that far. Wow, that's a long distance from Brendam Docks. And again, I do love this scene. And wow, there were lots of people waiting for him. And there are a lot of places that I do really like, which I'm not going to tell you about because I only have 12 minutes until bedtime, and I'm just gonna now talk about the bad stuff, and I will wrap this video up and get ready myself for sleep. Okay, so, yeah, let's move on. Okay, next is, what is bad about this season? Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so the things bad about this are the engine arrivals. as I said earlier. As I said like a half hour ago. Okay, so let's keep getting into it. Okay. So the bad things about this are the engine arrivals, as I said previously. And there are more bad things about it. The plot just keeps like, what? They're just making people start questioning how the engines arrived. Well, to be honest, I guess they have already arrived. I mean, and they have never got introduced until later in the series. Like how how does this even work? How does this piece of art actually work? Well, to be honest, it does not. This season is not really that bad. I really do think it's very good, but there are a couple things bad about it. And I have no idea about the letter marks because I really have not seen them, just like Unlucky Tug marked the percentage, aka letters, of the 14 ranking movies. Like that came out in this show. Right now I'm talking about season 7 and I will rank and I will give whatever percent I give it, aka a letter and a plus or minus or a normal. Okay, so yeah. What is bad about it is the rotation of the screen. Like, how does this even work? This rotation of screenshots are ridiculous. I was like, what? Was this like upside down or sideways? Like, this tea room shot is just like normal. But there are hundreds of shots that show it sideways. I mean, that's just a straight track, and the camera is sideways. That's another straight track, and that's a left track. That's just a straight one. Like, what even? Like, wow. Like, and this is just ridiculous. I have no idea what's gone into this episode. Like, how is this series even full of rotated screenshots? Huh. Anyways, I've been complaining about this for about 3 minutes. Okay, everyone, I think I'm going to wrap this up for now. I hope you enjoyed this retrospective of Season 7, and I will be back in the next episode for Season 6. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great day. Or have a good sleep. Or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, goodbye, everyone. I will see you in the next one.